What's going on, people, and welcome to Man Knows Football. You are here with Guni for a Southampton versus Chelsea match preview that is going to be happening today. It's 2:45 Eastern Time, 7:45 UK time. A game that is so soon after our 2-1 victory at Stamford Bridge against Everton, but this time we are going to be travelling down south over to the St Mary's Stadium to face the Southampton off the back of a 1-0 loss, and I'm going to have to emphasise narrow 1-0 loss because I do feel that Southampton played very well. The only thing that they didn't do was take their chances against Manchester United. So I feel like Man United were lucky to come away with 3 points and Southampton would be kicking themselves to not come away with more than just nothing. But I do have one or two things to say. Obviously, the first one is make sure you do smash that subscribe button if you are new. Smash the like button as well and leave your thoughts down there in the comments as always. And switch on that notification bell. Before I do get into the preview, I've got one or two things that I do need to say. I know quite a few of you have felt a certain way about some of the things that I have said about Thomas Tuchel and this Chelsea team. The first thing that I need to let you guys know is no, I am not Tuchel out. Regardless of what people want to turn around and say, I have never said I want the manager out. What I have said several times is that I want the manager to address what is priority. Do I claim to know more than Thomas Tuchel? Absolutely not. Otherwise, I would be in the hot seat at Chelsea Football Club right now receiving all the criticism. Do you know what I mean? But I see glaring issues. That is my opinion. I think the midfield is a glaring issue and it does need to be addressed. It does kind of concern me that the manager does not see that as something that needs to be addressed just yet. That's my opinion, but by no means am I saying the manager needs to go. Yeah, it's his first transfer window where he's been allowed to handpick the players that he wants to bring into his team to implement his philosophy to the best of his ability. Can he do that in one transfer window? Absolutely not. It's impossible. One summer to get everything that you want in is pretty much unheard of. So I understand he's going to need time and I'm willing to afford him time. I haven't forgotten about the things he's done for the club, what he's been through during the pandemic, the fact that he's stuck with us also through the whole sanctions situation. You know, there's several things that I can bring up, not to mention winning the Champions League with a team that wasn't his and the team that, you know, quite a few fans were saying had a lot of deadwood in it, me myself, and he was able to perform that miracle. So based on those facts, Tommy T definitely does deserve a chance. So people, get it out of your head, yeah? If you think I'm Tuchel out, I will say this. It is okay to criticize your manager if you feel like something is not right. Yeah, that doesn't mean that you want the manager out. It just means that you are pointing out an error that you think needs to be fixed. Football is a game of opinions. If you are not kicking a ball on the pitch, we need to just respect each other, you get me? So let's look at today's fixture, Southampton versus Chelsea at the St Mary's Stadium. What do we know about Southampton? They are not going to be sitting back and just absorbing pressure and making life difficult for us to be creating chances. We do know that Southampton are a relatively brave team. Regardless of the opposition, they do push a higher line than they perhaps should, but it just goes to show their fearlessness. They're there to attack. They're there to play good football, and Southampton do that, and that's something we're going to have to be very, very wary of. And where I think is going to be absolutely key is that we keep those wide areas quiet, because Southampton, they've got a lot of pace in those wide areas. Kyle Walker-Peters, Djenepo, Theo Walcott if he comes on. Several players, man, including Aribo as well. So, you know, they've got several tricky players that we need to keep an eye on. But I do believe if we keep their fullbacks pinned back and we do not give them an outlet on the wings where they're so strong, where they're so quick, we're going to nullify their threat into creating opportunities in the box. Southampton, when they like to attack, they can be very patient with possession. They do like to draw teams in to press them, which obviously does leave in spaces in behind. And because of the nature of their quick players, they do like to play those lofted quick balls that the players can run into. Once they get in the box, they do create an overload. So as you can hear, we have to be careful to watch out for that possession trap that they like to play. But the quality of Chelsea Football Club, you already know we're going to be keeping the majority of the possession. That's something that we are very good at, and I must emphasize, we need to be disciplined in this midfield. We need to retain possession, recycle possession a lot better than we have been doing recently. Losing possession in that midfield might kill us today, because they are going to have numbers in that midfield. James Ward-Prowse, Lavia, Aribo's going to drop back. You know, their strikers also like to come back and provide option as well, whether that's going to be Shea Adams or whoever is going to be playing up top for Southampton. We must find a way way to nullify those threats. 100%, otherwise we could find ourselves in a bit of a sticky situation. Now, I know this is a team that we beat 6-0 last season, and quite a few fans are optimistic about a result today. But this is the Premier League. You cannot take any team lightly, especially knowing that we've got our midfield woes. And speaking about the midfield, I think it's about time that we do get into our lineups. I would like to see the back five again, but however, we know that back five is very versatile and can go into the 4-2-2-2 formation. And I have actually created a visual so you can see what is going on in my mind rather than me just explaining it to you. So this is how I believe the team is going to line up on paper with the 3-5-2. I believe it's going to be, I'm not going to read out all the names, but I will give a disclaimer that Reece James, there are rumours that he could be injured for today's game, which for me isn't good news. One of our most important outlets in this Chelsea team, a world-class player, but it's just really frustrating that he is injury prone. But this is something that we have known about Reece James. He does get quite a few injuries in the season. I didn't expect this season to be any different, but if it is an injury, hopefully it's a minor one and it doesn't keep him out too long. And maybe the gaffer might take precaution and not play him in today's game. Can we afford to do that? I would say not really, but Southampton, are they in a position that we should be really overly threatened by? No, I don't think so. Also as well, I feel that Thiago Silva should be rested, but I don't think that the gaffer's going to rest him. Wesley Fofana, as we know, that transfer is going to be, hopefully, it's going to be wrapped up pretty soon, so it won't be available for today's selection. Would have been great if he did, but this formation that you are seeing here, the 3-5-2, as you can see, I picked the pivot of Jorginho and Kovacic. Kovacic, we did see him have minutes in against Leicester towards the end, so hopefully he'll be fit enough to start today. I think that'll be a major boost in that midfield. Why? Kovacic, for me, is the best midfielder that we've currently got at Chelsea Football Club. When he does have a consistent run of form, very good, very press resistant man, excellent on the dribble, can work on his final pass, but he can hit them as well. He can hit decent final passes. Also as well, does like to score a screamer once every while. Doesn't score the most goals, but is an absolute asset to our team. And our front three, I don't think is going to be changed. I still think it's going to be Mason Mount, Raheem Sterling and Kai Havertz. I do think the gaffer is going to go with that. But in the game, as we know, it could switch over to a 4-2-2-2. And here it is here on the screen. And this is how I would like to see us, you know, predominantly going at this game, because I do think Southampton, like I said, they will leave spaces. Having that protection in front of that back four with that centre-back pairing of Trevor Chalobah and Kalidou Koulibaly with Kovacic and Jorginho in front of them, I think it's going to be quite solid. Jorginho now is going to be getting that help he's going to need from Kovacic. We know how good he is at that. He is a very industrious player, does like to get himself about. Has got a yellow card in him, but it does show that he does like the physical side of the game too. I think that's going to massively help Jorginho, so he's got his protection there, which is going to leave a bit more freedom for the two midfielders that would be in front, Loftus-Cheek and Mason Mount in that midfield. So Mason Mount dropping a bit deeper, seeing him in a more favoured position that I would like to see him as well, instead of included with the attacking trident. Obviously, he will join the attack, but he will be a bit more central and playing next to Ruben Loftus-Cheek as well, who also is another very good number 8, playing his natural position. So I do think he can do a lot of damage from there. And that front two of Raheem Sterling and Kai Havertz. I thought Kai Havertz done an excellent job in the last game in terms of holding up the ball, being a very good outlet, you know, spraying out passes wide, playing them back when he needed to, trying to play a few forward passes. I think Kai Havertz has done well there, but he 100%, he does need to kick on. He does need to show more. There's a lot of promise in this player, and I want to see him mentioned about among the elites of the young players. So Kai Havertz, I'd love to see a good game from him today. Raheem Sterling, a bit of the same from last week, just not so much of the first half, more so the second half. First half, your ball retention was kind of poor. Second, it was a lot better, getting into good scoring positions. Use your initiative to get that first goal. Did take a deflection off Amati, but it would never have happened if he never tried to take the shot. So there we are. How do I feel going into this game? I'm not going to lie to you. I do feel we're going to come away with 3 points. I know some of you did watch back again and you heard what I said about the situation. That midfield area does worry me massively, but Kovacic coming back into the fold does give me a huge sense of comfort. Like I said, I think he provides Jorginho with excellent protection. I think he's also good at several other things, like I mentioned, his press resistance, his driving with that ball forward. I think he's great, man. So having him into that midfield, I think, firms us up massively. Mason Mount, I'll say this. On the scale of things, 100% he deserves to be dropped. He hasn't been good enough. One good game against Spurs at home is nowhere near enough. This is a kid that, you know, people, including myself, have said that he could reach top level, but he needs to start showing consistency. He needs to start being consistent. He needs to start showing what he's got. And him playing in that favoured position of his in that central midfield, potentially with this 4-2-2-2, it does give him the opportunity to really shine and show what he's about, and perhaps convince the gaffer that that is his natural position. Stop playing me out wide on the wings. Play me where I am best. So that's why, based on that, I will give Mason Mount the chance. But if he is having a stinker, I'll definitely take him off and think about bringing on perhaps a Christian Pulisic, who is not going to be leaving the club. So therefore, I feel he does deserve a chance. And I know some of you are thinking, how is it going to work in a 4-2-2-2 if Raheem Sterling's up top and Kai Havertz is next to him? Well, you could perhaps turn it into a 4-3-3. It is a very, or 4-2-1-2, however you want to call it. It is a very, very versatile lineup. We can even change things into the back five. We've got the personnel to do so within that lineup. But if Pulisic is kind of playing, but it is playing behind Kai Havertz and Raheem Sterling, and can operate that space, you know, just behind the striker, in front of the defence, I think he can do a decent job there. He has shown that he can play in central areas before. So I think we should definitely be giving him an opportunity if we're thinking that we're going to keep the player. It looks like we're going to keep the player because Callum Hudson Odoi has made his move to Bayer Leverkusen. It is not a permanent deal. There is no option to buy either. So we do know that he will be coming to Stamford Bridge. And apparently Chelsea have an option to recall the player in January. So we know that's not a permanent move. Hakim Ziyech looks like he might be sealing his move back to Ajax. So we are going to be low in the attacking positions. Hence why we are hearing Chelsea's negotiations with Aubameyang. I do think it's going to go through. I think it's taking its time, considering the age of the player, the length of the contract, the amount that Barcelona want. Apparently they've been moving the goalposts a little bit, but I do think an agreement will be sorted between the two clubs. We do have to show a hell of a lot more still, certainly more than what we showed against Leeds. That was our last away game. Coming to Southampton, like I said, is not going to be easy. They do have goals in that team and they're not afraid to go and get them. Like I said, it's not a team that's going to sit back and just stifle us, but we can use that to our advantage, man, as long as the transitions from us are quick enough, our players are getting forward, you know. And please, let's get numbers into the box. We have Kovacic back. He can stay back and protect Jorginho. Let's get the rest of them into the box. Let's see 3 or 4 players in the box so we can actually overload the opposition's defence rather than us being overloaded and we're just sending 1 or 2 attackers into the box, man. Because, listen, rule of thumb is going to tell you that Southampton defenders or whatever other team that you're facing, they are going to be winning those balls more times out of 10. But people, I've said 2-1 to Chelsea. I'm confident of a 3 points at St Mary's Stadium. It's not going to come easy. Let me know your prediction for today's game. Do you agree with the lineups? Remember, this is a lineup that I think the gaffer's going to go with, not what I would want. What I would want would actually look like this. What I want is a completely different thing to what the gaffer's going to do, but let me know your predictions down there. Also, smash that subscribe button if you are new. Smash the like button as well. Leave your thoughts down there in the comments and switch on the notifications so you know when the videos are coming out. But people, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, please make sure you do stay safe. Bless up.